In the heart of the vast African savanna, where the golden grasses stretched to meet the horizon and the sun painted the sky in hues of orange and pink, there lay a kingdom known as Ngolo. The kingdom was ruled by King Amani, a man whose name meant peace, but whose reign was anything but peaceful. Under his rule, the people of Ngolo lived in constant fear, their lives shadowed by his tyranny and greed. King Amani's palace stood at the center of Ngolo, a magnificent structure made of stone and adorned with gold and precious gems. It was a symbol of his power and wealth, but also of his cruelty. The king's guards patrolled the streets, ensuring that no one dared to speak against him. Those who did were swiftly and mercilessly punished. Despite the oppression, whispers of rebellion began to spread through the kingdom. The people yearned for freedom, for a leader who would bring justice and restore the peace that had once defined their land. Among them was a young woman named Zara. Zara was known throughout Ngolo for her wisdom and bravery. She was the daughter of a respected elder, and her beauty was matched only by her fierce determination to see her people freed from the king's grasp. Zara's journey began on a moonless night when the stars shone like diamonds scattered across a velvet sky. She met with a group of trusted allies in the depths of the forest, where they devised a plan to overthrow the tyrant. Each of them had suffered under King Amani's rule, and each was willing to risk everything for a chance at a better future. "We must strike when he least expects it," Zara said, her voice steady and confident. "The king believes himself invincible, but he has weaknesses. We will find them and use them to our advantage." Her words ignited a spark of hope in the hearts of her companions. They knew the road ahead would be fraught with danger, but they were ready to face it together. As they made their preparations, Zara couldn't help but think of her father, who had been imprisoned by the king for speaking out against his injustices. She vowed to herself that she would not rest until her father was free and the kingdom was liberated. The first step of their plan was to gather intelligence. Zara and her closest friend Kofi, who was a skilled tracker and hunter, set out to learn more about the king's routines and security measures. They spent days observing the palace from afar, noting the movements of the guards and the comings and goings of the courtiers. One evening, as they watched from a hidden vantage point, they noticed something unusual. A figure cloaked in black slipped through a side entrance of the palace, moving with a stealth that suggested they did not want to be seen. Zara's curiosity was piqued. "Who do you think that is?" Kofi whispered, his eyes narrowing. "I'm not sure," Zara replied, "but I intend to find out. This could be the opportunity we've been waiting for." They followed the mysterious figure at a safe distance, careful not to reveal their presence. The figure led them to a secluded part of the palace grounds, where they met with a small group of individuals who seemed to be waiting. Zara and Kofi watched intently as the cloaked figure exchanged words with the group, though they were too far away to hear what was being said. After a few minutes, the meeting dispersed, and the cloaked figure returned to the palace. Zara and Kofi decided to take a closer look at the spot where the group had gathered. They discovered a hidden entrance to an underground tunnel system, which seemed to lead directly into the heart of the palace. "This could be our way in," Kofi said, excitement glimmering in his eyes. "Yes," Zara agreed, "but we need to be cautious. We don't know who those people were or what their intentions are. We must gather more information before we make our move." Over the next few days, Zara and her allies continued their surveillance. They learned that the cloaked figure was a palace servant named Lila, who had been secretly aiding a group of dissidents within the king's court. These dissidents were planning their own rebellion against King Amani, and Lila was their key contact inside the palace. Zara knew that if they could ally with this group, their chances of success would greatly improve. She decided to take a bold step and approach Lila directly. One night, she intercepted Lila as she made her way to another secret meeting. "Lila," Zara called softly, stepping out of the shadows. Lila spun around, her eyes wide with fear. "Who are you?" she demanded, her voice trembling. "I'm a friend," Zara said, raising her hands to show she meant no harm. "I know about your meetings with the dissidents. I want to help." Lila hesitated, her gaze searching Zara's face for any sign of deceit. Finally, she nodded. "All right, follow me." Lila led Zara to a hidden chamber beneath the palace where the dissidents were gathered. Their leader, a man named Django, welcomed Zara and listened as she explained her plan to overthrow the king. "We've been waiting for someone like you," Django said, "someone with the courage and the vision to lead us. Together, we can bring an end to King Amani's reign. With their forces combined, Zara and the dissidents began to prepare for their final assault on the palace. They trained in secret, honing their skills and coordinating their efforts. The day of reckoning was fast approaching, and there was no turning back. As the sun set on the eve of their rebellion, Zara stood before her people, her heart swelling with pride and determination. "Tomorrow we fight for our freedom," she declared. "Tomorrow we take back our kingdom and restore peace to Ngolo." The crowd erupted in cheers, their voices echoing through the night. Zara knew that the battle ahead would be fierce, but she was ready. She had the strength of her ancestors behind her and the hope of her people in her heart. And so, under the cover of darkness, Zara and her allies made their way to the palace, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The time had come to fulfill their destiny and bring an end to the tyranny that had plagued their land for far too long. The night was still and heavy with anticipation as Zara and her companions approached the palace walls. The air was thick with the scent of blooming jasmine and the distant calls of nocturnal animals. Zara's heart pounded in her chest, each beat a reminder of the task ahead. The secret tunnel they had discovered, thanks to Lila's assistance, would be their entry point. Moving swiftly and silently, they navigated the labyrinthine passages beneath the palace. The flickering torches cast eerie shadows on the walls, adding to the sense of urgency. Kofi led the way, his keen eyes and instincts guiding them through the maze. At every turn, Zara's mind raced with thoughts of her father and the countless others who had suffered under King Amani's rule. Finally, they reached a concealed door that opened into the heart of the palace. Beyond it lay the throne room, where King Amani held court. Zara took a deep breath, steadying herself. This was the moment they had been preparing for. With a signal from Zara, the group burst into the throne room. The guards were taken by surprise, their reactions slow and uncoordinated. Zara's allies quickly subdued them, ensuring that no alarm could be raised. King Amani, seated on his opulent throne, stared in shock and fury. "Who dares to challenge me?" he roared, rising to his feet. His eyes blazed with anger, and his hand reached for the sword at his side. "It is time for your reign of terror to end, Amani," Zara declared, stepping forward. Her voice was clear and unwavering. "You have brought nothing but suffering to our people. Tonight, we take back our freedom." Amani laughed, a cruel and mocking sound. "You are nothing but a band of rebels. You think you can overthrow a king?" "We are more than you know," Zara replied. With a swift motion, she drew her own weapon, a blade inherited from her ancestors. "We are the voice of the people, and we will not be silenced." The room erupted into chaos as Amani's remaining loyalists attempted to defend their king. The clash of steel and the cries of battle echoed through the halls. Zara fought with a fierce determination, her every move calculated and precise. She had trained for this moment, and she would not falter. Amidst the turmoil, Zara spotted her father, chained and guarded in a corner of the room. His eyes met hers, filled with a mixture of hope and fear. She fought her way towards him, cutting down anyone who stood in her path. Reaching him, she quickly broke his chains. "Father, are you all right?" she asked, helping him to his feet. "I am now, my brave daughter," he replied, his voice choked with emotion. "You have done what I only dreamed of." Together they rejoined the battle. The tide was turning in their favor, but King Amani was not defeated yet. With a roar of rage, he charged at Zara, his sword raised high. She met his attack head-on, their blades clashing with a deafening ring. The duel between Zara and Amani was intense, each strike filled with years of anger and pain. Zara fought not just for herself, but for her father, for her people, and for the future of Ngolo. Her movements were fluid and powerful, a testament to her training and resolve. Finally, with a swift and decisive blow, Zara disarmed the king. His sword clattered to the floor, and he fell to his knees, his expression one of disbelief. Zara stood over him, her blade poised. "Your reign ends here, Amani," she said, her voice steady and cold. "You will answer for your crimes." With that, she struck the final blow, ending the tyrant's life. The room fell silent, the weight of the moment settling over everyone present. Zara looked around at her companions, their faces filled with a mix of relief and triumph. They had done it. The king was dead, and their kingdom was free. The people of Ngolo soon learned of their victory, and the streets filled with joyous celebration. The nightmare of King Amani's rule was over, and a new era of peace and prosperity was about to begin. Zara stood among her people, her heart filled with hope for the future. As dawn broke over the savannah, painting the sky in hues of pink and gold, Zara knew that their journey was far from over. There would be challenges ahead, but with her father by her side and the support of her people, she was ready to face whatever came next. The savannah seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, the land itself rejoicing in the newfound freedom. And so, the tale of Zara, the brave woman who killed the king and saved her people, would be told for generations to come, a testament to the power of courage, determination, and the unyielding spirit of a united people. The sun rose higher, casting long shadows over the bustling market of Ngolo. The air was filled with the lively chatter of traders and the laughter of children, a stark contrast to the oppressive silence that had once hung over the kingdom. Zara walked through the crowd, her presence commanding respect and admiration. She had become a symbol of hope and strength, a beacon for those who had once lived in fear. As she moved through the market, Zara noticed a familiar face. It was Lila, the palace servant who had been instrumental in their rebellion. Zara approached her, a warm smile spreading across her face. "Lila, it's good to see you," she greeted. "And you, Zara," Lila replied, bowing her head slightly. "Thanks to you we are free. The people of Ngolo owe you a great debt." "We did this together," Zara said, placing a hand on Lila's shoulder. "You were brave to help us from within the palace. Now we must work to rebuild our kingdom." Lila nodded, her eyes reflecting the determination that Zara felt. "What will you do first?" "First, we must ensure that everyone has a voice in the new government," Zara explained. "No more tyranny. We will create a council of elders, representatives from each village and community to guide us." The market square was soon filled with the sound of drums, signaling an important announcement. Zara and Lila made their way to the center, where Kofi stood ready to address the crowd, his voice carried over the noise, commanding attention. "People of Ngolo," Kofi began, "today marks the beginning of a new era. No longer will we live under the shadow of a tyrant. We will govern ourselves with wisdom and justice. Zara has proposed the creation of a council of elders, and we need your support." The crowd erupted in cheers and applause. Zara stepped forward, raising her hands to quiet the enthusiastic response. "Our future is in our hands," she said, her voice strong and clear. "Together we will build a kingdom where every voice is heard, where justice prevails, and where peace reigns. Let us choose our council wisely and work towards a brighter future." In the days that followed, representatives from across Ngolo gathered to form the new council. Elders respected for their wisdom and experience were chosen to lead. Zara, though young, was elected as the head of the council, her bravery and vision earning her the trust of the people. Under the guidance of the council, Ngolo began to flourish. New schools were established, ensuring that every child had the opportunity to learn and grow. Trade routes were reopened, bringing prosperity to the market. The kingdom's warriors, once feared enforcers of the king's will, became protectors of the peace, their skills now used to defend their people. Despite the progress, challenges remained. Neighboring kingdoms, seeing the newfound strength of Ngolo, sought to test its resolve. One such kingdom was Ledogo, ruled by a cunning and ambitious king named Baraka. Hearing of Ngolo's transformation, Baraka saw an opportunity to expand his own power. One evening, as the council was meeting to discuss matters of state, a messenger arrived with news that Baraka's army was amassing at the border. The threat was clear. If Ngolo did not submit, Baraka would attack. "We cannot allow ourselves to be bullied," Zara said firmly. "We must show Baraka that we are united and strong." Kofi, now a trusted advisor, agreed. "We have trained warriors and the support of our people. We can defend our land." The council decided to send a delegation to meet with Baraka, hoping to resolve the situation peacefully. Zara, Kofi, and a few others set out for the border, determined to protect their home without bloodshed. When they arrived at the border, they were met by Baraka and his advisors. The air was tense, the threat of violence palpable. Zara stepped forward, her demeanor calm and resolute. "King Baraka, we come in peace," she began. "Ngolo has no desire for conflict. We wish to live in harmony with our neighbors. What is it that you seek?" Baraka, a tall and imposing figure, regarded Zara with a calculating gaze. "Power," he replied bluntly. "I have heard of your kingdom's resurgence. I want an alliance, one where Ngolo serves under Ledogo's rule." Zara's eyes narrowed. "We will not be subjugated again. We can be allies, but as equals. We will not bow to another tyrant." Baraka's lips curled into a smirk. Then prepare for war. Zara's heart sank, but she stood her ground. If it is war you seek, you will find that Ngolo is ready to defend itself. Our people fight for their freedom, and they will not be easily defeated. The negotiations ended with no agreement, and Zara returned to Ngolo to prepare for the impending conflict. The council mobilized the warriors, fortifying the borders and ensuring that every citizen was ready to support the defense effort. As dawn broke over the savannah, the two armies faced each other, the tension crackling in the air. Zara, at the head of her warriors, raised her blade high. She knew the battle ahead would be fierce, but she was prepared to fight for the freedom and future of her people. The clash of steel and the cries of warriors filled the air as the battle commenced. Zara fought with the same fierce determination that had driven her to overthrow King Amani. Her movements were a blur of skill and precision, each strike a testament to her unyielding spirit. The warriors of Ngolo, inspired by Zara's leadership, fought valiantly. They defended their land with courage and unity, proving that they were not a people to be underestimated. As the battle raged on, it became clear that Ngolo would not be easily subdued. Finally, after hours of relentless fighting, Baraka's forces began to waver. The spirit and resolve of Ngolo's warriors were too much for them to overcome. Seeing his army falter, Baraka called for a retreat. Zara stood victorious on the battlefield, her breath heavy but her heart light. They had defended their land, their freedom, and their future. The people of Ngolo had proven that they were a force to be reckoned with, united and unbreakable. As the sun set over the savannah, casting a golden glow over the victorious warriors, Zara knew that their fight for a just and peaceful kingdom was far from over. But with each battle won, they moved one step closer to realizing their dream of a free and prosperous Ngolo. The celebration in Ngolo was unlike any other. The streets were alive with music, dance, and the sounds of joy. Every corner of the kingdom echoed with laughter and song, the people reveling in their hard-won peace. Zara, though weary from the battle, found herself swept up in the festivities. She moved through the crowd, her presence a symbol of their victory and unity. Amidst the celebrations, Zara met with the council. They gathered in a large open hall, the air thick with the scent of burning incense and fresh flowers. The elders, seated in a semicircle, listened as Zara recounted the events of the battle. "We must remain vigilant," Zara said, her voice firm. "Baraka's retreat does not mean he won't return. We need to strengthen our defenses and ensure that our alliances with neighboring tribes are solidified." The council nodded in agreement. Elder Jengo, a wise and respected figure, spoke up. "We must also consider our future. Peace is more than just the absence of war. We need to build, to educate, and to heal." Zara agreed. "Education is key. We need schools in every village, teachers who can pass on knowledge and skills to the next generation, and we must ensure that our people have access to healers and medicine." The council set to work, drafting plans to build new schools and health centers. They also established a system of trade and communication with neighboring tribes, ensuring that Ngolo remained strong and connected. Meanwhile, Zara continued to train with the warriors, honing her skills and preparing them for any future threats. She spent time with her father, who had regained his strength and now served as an advisor to the council. Together, they worked to unite the kingdom, fostering a sense of community and shared purpose. One evening, as Zara walked through the village, she encountered a group of children playing a game of stick fighting. Their laughter and energy were infectious, and she found herself drawn to their innocent joy. She watched for a moment, then stepped forward to join them. The children were delighted, their eyes wide with admiration. Zara showed them a few moves, her graceful and powerful movements inspiring them. As they played, she spoke to them about the importance of unity and courage, encouraging them to always stand up for what was right. As the sun set, painting the sky in shades of red and orange, Zara felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had fought for her people, and now she was helping to shape their future. She knew that challenges lay ahead, but she was ready to face them with the same determination that had carried her through the darkest times. In the following months, Ngolo thrived. The new schools and health centers brought knowledge and healing to the people. The trade routes flourished, bringing prosperity and goods from far and wide. The warriors under Zara's leadership maintained a vigilant watch, ensuring the kingdom's safety. One day, a messenger arrived with news from the north. A tribe known as the Mbaku had sent envoys seeking an alliance with Ngolo. The Mbaku were known for their wisdom and their powerful warriors, and their alliance could greatly benefit both tribes. Zara and the council agreed to meet with the envoys. They traveled to the border, where they were greeted by the Mbaku delegation. The leader of the envoys, a tall and dignified woman named Kiana, stepped forward. "Greetings, Zara of Ngolo," Kiana said, her voice strong and clear. "We have heard of your bravery and the strength of your people. We seek an alliance to share knowledge, resources, and protection." Zara smiled warmly. "We welcome your friendship, Kiana. Together we can achieve great things." The alliance was formalized with a feast, where the people of Ngolo and Mbaku shared food, stories, and dances. Bonds were formed, and a new era of cooperation began. The combined wisdom and strength of the two tribes promised a future of peace and prosperity. As the seasons changed, Zara continued to lead with wisdom and courage. She traveled to the villages, listening to the concerns and ideas of the people. She ensured that the new schools and health centers were running smoothly, and she fostered the alliance with the Mbaku, learning from their traditions and sharing her own. One evening, as Zara sat by the fire with her father, he looked at her with pride. "You have done well, my daughter. You have brought hope and strength to our people." Zara nodded, her heart full. "It is the people who give me strength, father. Together, we are unstoppable." The fire crackled and the stars shone brightly overhead, a reminder of the vastness of the world and the endless possibilities that lay ahead. Zara knew that the future would bring new challenges and new opportunities, but she was ready to face them, confident in the strength and unity of her people. And so, the story of Zara and the kingdom of Ngolo continued, a tale of courage, wisdom, and the enduring power of community. The land thrived, the people prospered, and the legacy of Zara's leadership became a legend that would be told for generations to come. As the harvest season approached, Ngolo's fields were lush and green, promising a bountiful yield. The villages buzzed with activity, everyone working together to prepare for the coming days of reaping and celebration. Zara, ever present among her people, lent a hand in the fields, her presence a source of inspiration and strength. One morning, as Zara was helping to organize the workers, a rider approached from the north. The rider, an envoy from the Mbaku, brought urgent news. Kiana, the leader of the Mbaku delegation, requested Zara's presence at their village for a matter of great importance. Sensing the gravity of the situation, Zara quickly gathered a small group of trusted advisors and set out for the Mbaku village. Upon arrival, Zara was greeted by Kiana, whose usually calm demeanor was now overshadowed by concern. She led Zara to a council meeting where the elders of the Mbaku were gathered. "Zara, thank you for coming so swiftly," Kiana began. "We face a new threat. A powerful warlord named Ndari has been raiding villages to the east, and it seems he is moving towards our lands. His forces are large and ruthless." Zara listened intently, her mind racing with strategies. "We must act quickly," she said. "We cannot allow Ndari to bring destruction to our people. What do we know of his movements?" Kiana's eyes met Zara's with a determined glint. "Our scouts report that he is amassing his forces near the river. He plans to strike soon." "We will need to unite our warriors and prepare our defenses," Zara responded. "But we must also find a way to weaken Ndari's forces. Perhaps we can cut off his supply lines or create alliances with other tribes who oppose him." The council agreed, and a plan was set into motion. Scouts were dispatched to gather more intelligence, while messengers were sent to neighboring tribes, seeking their support. Zara and Kiana worked tirelessly, coordinating their efforts and ensuring that their people were ready for the coming conflict. As the days passed, tension grew. The fields of Ngolo and Mbaku were fortified, and the warriors trained rigorously. The unity between the two tribes strengthened, their shared purpose forging an unbreakable bond. Zara and Kiana stood side by side, their leadership inspiring confidence and resolve among their people. Finally, the day came when Ndari's forces appeared on the horizon. The warlord himself, a towering figure with a reputation for brutality, led the charge. Zara stood at the front lines, her eyes fixed on the advancing enemy. She knew that this battle would determine the future of their lands. With a signal from Zara, the warriors of Ngolo and Mbaku launched their attack. The clash was fierce and unforgiving, the air filled with the sounds of battle. Zara fought with unmatched skill, her movements a blur of precision and strength. Kiana, equally formidable, led her warriors with unwavering courage. Despite their fierce resistance, Ndari's forces were relentless. Zara knew they needed to turn the tide. She signaled to a group of warriors hidden in the nearby forest who swiftly moved to cut off Ndari's supply lines. As the warlord's forces began to falter, Zara saw an opportunity. Rallying her warriors, Zara led a decisive charge towards Ndari himself. The warlord, taken by surprise, struggled to maintain control of his troops. In the midst of the chaos, Zara confronted Ndari, their blades clashing with a force that reverberated through the battlefield. The duel was intense, each strike filled with the weight of their respective destinies. Ndari, though powerful, was no match for Zara's agility and determination. With a final powerful blow, Zara disarmed him, her blade at his throat. "Your reign of terror ends now," Zara declared, her voice echoing with authority. Ndari, recognizing his defeat, lowered his head in submission. With the warlord captured and his forces defeated, the battlefield fell silent. The warriors of Ngolo and Mbaku raised their voices in triumphant victory. The threat had been vanquished, and their lands were safe once more. In the days that followed, Zara and Kiana worked to restore peace and order. Ndari was brought before a council of elders, where he faced justice for his crimes. The unity between Ngolo and Mbaku grew stronger, their shared victory forging an unbreakable alliance. Zara returned to her people, her heart filled with pride and relief. The fields of Ngolo, once threatened by war, were now vibrant with life and promise. The kingdom had faced yet another challenge and emerged stronger, its spirit unbroken and its future secure. The rainy season arrived, bringing with it the life-giving waters that transformed the landscape of Ngolo into a lush green paradise. The people welcomed the rain with open arms, knowing it would nourish their crops and fill their rivers. Amidst the thriving land, Zara continued her work, ensuring the kingdom remained united and prosperous. One morning, as the rain gently fell outside, Zara sat with the council to discuss plans for a grand festival. The festival would celebrate their recent victories and strengthen the bonds within their community. Elders and representatives from various villages shared their ideas, and together they crafted a plan for a week-long celebration filled with music, dance, and storytelling. As preparations for the festival began, a traveler arrived at the gates of Ngolo. The man, dressed in worn but colorful garments, introduced himself as Obasi, a wandering griot. Obasi carried with him a kora, an instrument of great beauty, and spoke of his desire to share stories and songs from distant lands. "Your kingdom's story has reached far and wide," Obasi said, bowing respectfully before Zara and the council. "I come to offer my tales and music to your celebration, to weave the threads of your victories into the fabric of our collective history." Zara, intrigued by the griot's presence, welcomed him warmly. "We would be honored to have you join us, Obasi. Your stories and songs will remind us of the importance of our heritage and the power of our unity." The festival began with a vibrant parade through the streets of Ngolo. People from all corners of the kingdom gathered, their colorful attire creating a tapestry of joy and celebration. Drummers led the procession, their rhythms echoing through the air, while dancers followed, their movements fluid and graceful. Obasi took center stage in the main square, his kora gleaming in the sunlight. He played a hauntingly beautiful melody, capturing the attention of everyone present. As the music filled the air, Obasi began to tell the tales of Ngolo, weaving Zara's bravery and the people's resilience into a narrative that resonated deeply with all who listened. Each day of the festival brought new performances and events. Storytellers shared ancient legends, musicians played melodies that stirred the soul, and dancers moved with a grace that seemed to defy gravity. The people of Ngolo reveled in the celebration, their spirits lifted by the sense of community and shared purpose. On the final day of the festival, Zara stood before the gathered crowd. She spoke of their victories, their unity, and the bright future that lay ahead. Her words were met with cheers and applause, the people's faith in their leader unshakable. That evening, as the sun set and the stars began to twinkle in the sky, Obasi performed one last song. His voice, rich and melodic, carried across the square, drawing everyone into a moment of collective reflection. The music spoke of hope, strength, and the enduring spirit of Ngolo. After the festival, life in the kingdom returned to its rhythm of growth and prosperity. Zara continued to lead with wisdom and compassion, ensuring that the people of Ngolo thrived. The alliance with the Mbaku remained strong, their shared experiences forging a bond that could not be broken. As the years passed, Zara's leadership saw Ngolo transform into a beacon of peace and harmony. The fields were bountiful, the markets bustling with trade, and the villages filled with laughter and song. The stories of Zara's bravery and the people's resilience were passed down through generations, becoming a cherished part of their heritage. Obasi, the wandering griot, eventually took his leave, but not before imparting his wisdom to the next generation of storytellers and musicians. His influence ensured that the tales of Ngolo would continue to inspire and unite people far and wide. The rainy season gave way to the dry season, and life continued its cyclical dance. Ngolo, under Zara's steadfast guidance, remained a place of hope and strength, its people forever grateful for the freedom and peace they had fought so hard to achieve. The land flourished, the community thrived, and the spirit of Ngolo shone brightly, a testament to the power of unity and the enduring legacy of a brave leader and her people. With the dry season came new challenges. The rivers receded, leaving behind cracked earth and parched fields. Zara and her council knew that they needed to act swiftly to ensure the kingdom's survival. Meetings were held under the shade of the great baobab trees, their branches providing solace and a sense of continuity. Kofi, now a trusted leader of the warriors, suggested they dig deeper wells to access underground water. Elder Jengo proposed constructing aqueducts to transport water from the distant mountains. Zara, considering all options, decided to implement both plans. The people of Ngolo, united in purpose, set to work immediately. While the wells were being dug and the aqueducts built, Zara received word from a distant village. A rare and revered healer named Amali had arrived, bringing with her knowledge of plants and ancient techniques to help conserve water and improve irrigation. Zara knew that Amali's expertise could be crucial. Welcoming Amal, Zara introduced her to the council. Amale, a woman of quiet strength and profound wisdom, shared her insights on water management and plant care. Under her guidance, new methods were adopted, and the crops began to show signs of resilience even under the harsh sun. As the construction of the wells and aqueducts progressed, Zara led efforts to distribute the limited water supply fairly. Community meetings were held to ensure that everyone had access to water, and conflicts were resolved through dialogue and mutual respect. The spirit of cooperation and shared responsibility flourished. One day, while inspecting the progress of an aqueduct, Zara encountered a group of travelers seeking refuge. They were from a distant land, fleeing drought and famine. Zara listened to their stories and felt a deep compassion for their plight. She invited them to join Ngolo, offering them a place in the community and a chance to rebuild their lives. The travelers brought with them new skills and knowledge, enriching Ngolo's culture and strength. They introduced innovative farming techniques and crafts that soon became integral to the kingdom's way of life. The spirit of Ngolo, ever adaptable and welcoming, embraced these new members as part of their growing family. One evening, as the stars glittered above, Amali approached Zara with an urgent matter. She had received a vision of an impending plague of locusts that could devastate their crops. Zara, trusting in Amali's wisdom, called an emergency council meeting. "We must prepare for this threat," Zara said, her voice resolute. "We need to protect our fields and find ways to deter the locusts." The council brainstormed various strategies. Amali suggested using natural repellents made from local herbs. Kofi and the warriors proposed building protective barriers around the fields. The entire community mobilized, working together to safeguard their precious crops. As the anticipated swarm approached, Zara and her people stood ready. They burned herbs to create smoke, used drums to create noise, and deployed the barriers they had built. The locusts descended, but the preparations proved effective. While some crops were lost, the majority were saved, and the kingdom averted disaster. Grateful for their survival, the people of Ngolo held a celebration to honor their unity and resilience. Songs were sung and dances performed, telling the story of their triumph over adversity. Zara, Amale, Kofi, and the council were praised for their leadership and wisdom. Amale, her mission complete, decided it was time to continue her travels. Before she left, she took Zara aside and presented her with a small, intricately carved amulet. "This is a symbol of protection and guidance," Amale explained. "Wear it, and may it bring you strength and clarity in the days to come." Zara accepted the gift with gratitude, feeling a deep sense of connection to the healer. Amale departed, leaving behind a legacy of knowledge and friendship that would endure in Ngolo. As the dry season drew to a close, the kingdom stood strong and united. The wells and aqueducts ensured a steady supply of water, the crops were thriving once more, and the community had grown both in numbers and in spirit. The people of Ngolo had faced many trials, but their unwavering unity and determination saw them through each challenge. Life in the kingdom returned to its vibrant rhythm, with the people working together to build a future filled with promise and hope. The land flourished, and the bonds of community grew ever stronger, a testament to the enduring spirit of Ngolo and its people. As the new season began, the land of Ngolo flourished under the clear blue skies. The fields were ripe with crops, and the rivers flowed with renewed vigor. The kingdom, united and resilient, looked forward to a future filled with promise. Zara, now a beloved and respected leader, continued to guide her people with wisdom and compassion. One morning, as Zara walked through the bustling market, she noticed a group of children gathered around an elder. The elder, with a voice rich in timbre, was recounting tales of the past, stories of bravery, wisdom, and unity. Zara smiled, knowing that these stories were the lifeblood of their culture, a way to pass on the values and lessons learned through generations. Among the children was a boy named Kamau, whose eyes sparkled with curiosity and intelligence. Zara had often seen him around, always eager to learn and help. She approached the group and listened to the elder's story, feeling a deep sense of pride in her people's heritage. After the elder finished, Kamau ran up to Zara, his face alight with excitement. "Zara, is it true that you fought the evil king and saved our kingdom?" he asked, his voice filled with awe. Zara knelt down to his level, her eyes meeting his. "Yes, Kamau, it is true, but I did not do it alone. It was the strength and unity of our people that made it possible. Always remember that together, we are strong." Kamau nodded, absorbing her words with the seriousness of one far beyond his years. "One day, I want to be like you," he said earnestly. Zara smiled and placed a hand on his shoulder. "You already have the heart of a leader, Kamau. Never stop learning and always be brave and kind." As the days turned into weeks, preparations began for a grand council meeting where leaders from neighboring tribes would gather to discuss the future of their lands. This gathering was an opportunity to strengthen alliances, share knowledge, and ensure lasting peace in the region. The great hall was adorned with colorful banners and fresh flowers. Delegates from the Mambaku and other allied tribes arrived, bringing gifts and stories from their lands. The atmosphere was filled with a sense of camaraderie and mutual respect. During the meeting, various issues were discussed, from trade agreements to collaborative efforts in education and healthcare. The leaders shared their visions for a future where their people could live in harmony, free from the shadows of tyranny and conflict. Zara spoke passionately about the importance of unity and cooperation. "Our strength lies in our diversity," she said. "By working together, we can create a world where our children can thrive, where every voice is heard, and where peace is not just a dream, but a reality." The meeting concluded with a feast, a celebration of their shared goals and the bonds they had forged. Songs and dances from different tribes filled the night, a beautiful tapestry of cultures coming together. As the moon rose high, Zara found herself standing by the river, reflecting on the journey that had brought her here. She thought of her father, now an elder whose wisdom continued to guide her, of Kofi and his unwavering loyalty, and of Amale, whose teachings had enriched their lives. Suddenly, she felt a presence beside her. It was Kamau, looking up at the stars with wonder. "Zara, do you think we'll always have peace?" he asked, his voice filled with innocence and hope. Zara looked at the boy, her heart full. "Peace is something we must work for every day, Kamau. It requires courage, understanding, and a willingness to stand together. As long as we remember that, we will always find a way." Kamau nodded thoughtfully, and they stood in silence, the sound of the river a soothing melody in the background. The next morning, life in Ngolo continued with its usual vibrancy. The market buzzed with activity. The fields thrived under the sun, and the people moved with a sense of purpose and contentment. Zara, walking among them, felt a profound sense of fulfillment. Her gaze fell upon a mural being painted on a wall, depicting the story of Ngolo's rise from tyranny to freedom. It showed the bravery of its people, the wisdom of its leaders, and the unbreakable bonds of community. Zara knew that this was their true strength, the heart of Ngolo. In the days that followed, Zara continued to lead with the same dedication and love that had always guided her. She knew that challenges would come, but with her people by her side, there was nothing they could not overcome. The legacy of Ngolo would live on, a testament to the power of unity, resilience, and hope. And so, the story of Zara and her beloved kingdom became a legend, told and retold through the ages. It was the story of a land where courage and compassion prevailed, where every voice mattered, and where the spirit of the people shone brighter than any star in the sky.